You know how people say that you get better by working with people who are smarter than you? I can definitely agree on this because I've had the privilege of working with some of the greatest engineers that I could possibly ever think of. And after 2 years in the industry, here are the 5 greatest lessons that I've learned by working with some of the greatest, not just engineers, but the greatest humans that I've come across. And so let's get right into it. Lesson number 1 that I learned as someone who's worked with 15 engineers in close proximity is that great engineers are genuinely great people, good people to be around. It's people who you want to surround yourself with and spend time with, and they mentor everyone and want to be of help to everyone as much as they can. Like, a few names just pop up in my head as soon as someone mentions like who's a great engineer. If you ask me this question, I can name like 5-6 people to you straight away. I think it's because those people are reliable and it adds credibility to them as engineers. They're reliable, kind, not just in their professional lives but as people. Some of those people are the ones that are committing to running marathons for charities and who donate so much, who spend a lot of their time doing good things outside. And those habits, by being around these people, I didn't used to do these things before, like do charity, go on marathons and runs and support all these initiatives, but I started doing it because I was surrounded by these people and they encourage them and they hold so much value in their lives. I was like, it's fundamental that to have such kindness in me, I do these things as well. While those engineers were indirectly mentioning their interests, I was learning from them. I was being mentored into what I think are great qualities in people, and I think those are making me a little bit better as a person. And as an engineer, they mentor 24/7 and you don't hear them complaining. If they don't know something, or even if you ask them 10 times, they'll put in the time to help you and learn through it because you're just a junior. They were in your position one day and they have the empathy to take you forward with them. Which brings me on to lesson number 2, is that the greatest engineers, especially the senior leaders, the team leads, the greatest ones are the ones who carry their whole team with them. They don't just move forward and keep rushing through tickets themselves, because realistically, they all have technical ability to do that. They can sit through and they'd probably finish my tickets in one day, which is taking me a full 2 weeks to do. But they don't do that. They let people move at their own pace and actually give them the mentorship and support that they need to move forward with them. And so I think being a great engineer is someone who can take their whole team with them and allow everyone else to progress equally and move together and move forward into creating a better work environment as well. And as part of creating a better work environment, I've noticed lesson number 3 is that the best engineers are always thinking long terms, in terms of system, in terms of people and opportunities as well. They don't just build something and leave it and they're like, I'll deal with this whenever. They always think of the best way to do the things, and they have no obligation to do it. Anyone can just get the ticket done and over with, and it takes an extra 10-20 minutes to put in the thought of, is this really the best way of doing it? Can we do it in another way? Is this person someone who's going to grow with the team, or am I just gonna let them go because they didn't perform well in an interview or they messed up one question in an interview? The greatest engineers, and I'll speak from personal experience here, when I was doing my internship, whilst I was on my internship, I think I was like 2-3 weeks in, head of technology had already said like, you're going to work towards being a manager one day, so you need to build these skills and work on these projects in this way. So start thinking with those solid principles, start putting those mindsets in place. And just him mentioning that he was visioning me as a senior engineer one day, it gave me a lot of motivation as someone who was just in uni to actually put in extra hours. I want to be a senior one day, so I need to implement code which is clean. I need to implement code which other people can understand and use as well. And I think just having that mindset of seeing people from a growth perspective and seeing systems as having the capability to grow as well and be used by other people in other scenarios as well, that's what makes them great engineers. They have this vision for the future, and I personally can't say that I have this vision just now. I think just with my code a little bit, I'm starting to see like, oh, maybe I should write this differently and modularize it and make it a bit simple instead of using 10 different classes. And I'm trying to embed that bit by bit, but I definitely don't have that vision for being able to hire an engineer, hence why I'm a junior, because I'm not in the position to be hiring anyone. But I think that vision for the future is so important, and that's what makes them so fantastic. And I definitely learned that having that vision is important. The reason they have time for thinking about the future and of this vision for the company and the structures and the code is because they delegate their tasks, and they're really, really good at delegating. As a junior, all of us who are watching, we have no business delegating. We're going to do all the work it takes. This is what I've learned from seeing them, but it's nothing I should be implementing and nothing I am going to implement, because as juniors, we want to do as much of the work as we can. That's the position we're in. That's how we're going to learn and how we're going to grow. But the great engineers and the senior engineers that I work with, they delegate their tasks, and they're really good at, especially the menial tasks which aren't causing them to progress or causing the business to progress. they allowed the juniors to do it, and that's what we're here for. We're here for all the dirty code and all the work that needs to be done. We're here to clean up all the trash, guys. I'm joking. But that's what we're here for. And their delegation allows them to have this time for the vision and to learn where the business is moving forward, and that's part of their role as well. Part of their delegation is to remove the tasks that don't need to be done, and that strategy is fantastic. I think to delegate things into a backlog, and that backlog gets addressed when the company has time, that's such a great skill to have. I definitely don't possess it, but I learned that is part of the skill set that I'll need in the future to become a senior engineer one day and to grow as part of the business as well. And lesson number 5, which I learned, is that the greatest engineers and the greatest seniors I work with, they never stop learning. I cannot emphasize it enough. Like, a new technology will come out 2 days ago and they'll already have mastered it, and they'll try and implement it into the business, and they do this all in their free time. I'm not saying that everyone should go and be coding 24/7, but they have this ownership in the business that I'm going to do whatever is best for the business and whatever is best for the code and for my own learning. They never let their own learning take a back seat in their journey as an engineer. It's always priority. They're learning new systems, they're implementing new strategies as well, and that's what makes them great. It also encourages me to never stop learning. It's my responsibility and it's a priority on my list to always be growing and changing, whether that's 0.1% any day or whether that's 0.0001%. I need to put in something in place where I'm learning something new every single day and improving by that 1%. I personally have a log, like just a Word document where I put down one sentence of what I've learned in the day, something new which I've learned, and that's me holding myself accountable to being that 1% better. I know senior engineers can learn a lot more much quicker than I can, and I don't have the systems in place to be learning things 24/7, but I'm trying to learn them and I'm trying to improve slowly, and I hope by the time I'm in their position, which is like 7-8 years from now, I do have the systems in place where I can just spend a weekend learning something and then come in and implement it within an hour or 2, and it really improves business efficiency. But the key is to never stop learning. The lessons I learned from them aren't purely technical, because I think technical skills, at some point, they plateau. There's only so much code that you can write, there's only so much things you can learn, but to be a great engineer is a lot to do with the mindset and how you come across to other people as well, and that's the main takeaway from here. And on this channel I talk a lot about soft skills and being someone who wants to be in the workplace, who people want to have in the workplace as well. And so my main takeaways are always that they're great people and they really value themselves as people as well, not just engineers. Their personality isn't I'm an engineer, their personality is that I'm a person who helps the business develop and grow by implementing technical solutions. And I think to have that mindset really puts my vision for the future into perspective as well. Like, I don't just want to be someone who codes, I want to be someone who contributes in the long term and to the growth of the people around me, of the juniors I'll mentor one day, and I want to contribute to the seniors as well who I'm working with. So if you're an engineer who's just starting out, I think we can just start small. I don't want to put too much pressure on myself or anyone else to say, I want to be a great engineer by next week. That is not how it works. These people have learned these skills and become better slowly over time as they've worked, and I didn't have the privilege to see them in their early days, but I'm so glad that I get to work with them today in their greatest form, I'd say. And I hope I can also develop and learn, and by growing 1% better every day, I'll hopefully be a great engineer one day, and hopefully a junior will one day say that I've learned from Nayab and she's mentored me. And so if you're a junior, what's one thing you learned today? And I hope you leave it down in the comments below and let's have a chat. See you guys later.